All right, the mental game of baseball, how to prepare for an at-bat, to hit most effectively. How can we mentally prepare to be the best hitter we can be on each and every at-bat? Starts with knowing yourself. Long before you step in on deck circle, you have to know yourself as a hitter. What are your strengths as a hitter? What pitches do you handle? What locations do you handle well? What are your weaknesses? What things do you need to work on? What are your struggles? How do you avoid your weaknesses and accentuate your strengths during the batter's box? These are questions you need to ask yourself. Where are you at this point during your season? Are you comfortable in the batter's box? Are you seeing the ball well? Did you have a great round of BP that day? Are you feeling very confident? Are you not? How are you physically? Is there anything you need to take care of physically to be prepared as possible? Make sure you're prepared physically. You're hydrated, you're loose, you're ready, and you've done the physical preparations with batting practice and pregame work to prepare to be a hitter. And of course, that practice as well goes well beyond that. You got to know your role in the lineup. If you have a knowledgeable coach, if you're at a higher level and your coach is experienced and knowledgeable, the coach should understand what different people's job on their team and in their lineup is. So you have to understand what your role in the lineup. A hitter in the 2 hole is much different than a hitter in the 4 or 5 hole or the hitter in the 8 and 9 hole. We all have different jobs and roles within the lineup, and it depends how your coach put that lineup together. You have to understand what you're trying to do in different situations and what your coach wants you to do in different situations. Very important. Hopefully you have a knowledgeable coach who has a plan with how he or she sets up the lineup, and you can work within that. Studying the pitcher. You have to understand how the pitcher is trying to get you out. You have to understand, does the pitcher have good control? Does the pitcher have overwhelming stuff that's going to be difficult to hit? Does the pitcher have an out pitch that you want to avoid? Does the pitcher have a good fastball? Does the pitcher have good location? What part of the plate is the pitcher working off of? What are the pitcher's out pitches? How is the pitcher approaching different hitters and trying to get them out? What pace does the pitcher throw at? These are all things that you need to consider and prepare yourself for. Obviously, if the pitcher is overpowering or has an overpowering out pitch, a slider or a changeup that's just devastating, you're going to want to get on that fastball earlier in the count. If the pitcher doesn't have much, you need to sit around and wait for a pitch that you can really handle because the pitcher doesn't have anything that can get by you. So you really have to think about the pitcher and how you're handling the pitcher, and you need to think about what is the pitcher and catcher's game plan for getting you out, and that's what you got to be looking for. You must understand the umpire as well. What is the umpire's strike zone? Is the umpire giving the pitcher off the outside corner or inside corner or up or down? Is the umpire even consistent? You need to protect yourself against an inconsistent umpire. Does the umpire like to ring people up and be the center of the show? If so, when you get the 2 strikes, you might want to avoid getting the 2 strikes, and then when you do, you might want to make sure you really protect the plate and put the ball in play. Maybe the umpire is very consistent, has a very tight zone, and you don't want to expand the zone. You want to make the pitcher come to you. You have to understand the umpire. You can do this from experience. You can do this from watching the umpire, picking up on the umpire's cues, and watching the hitters before you. Then you have to have a game plan. What is the situation in the game? Where are you at in the game? And where are you at in the lineup? Are people on base? Do you need to drive people in? Do you need to get on base? Do you need to just pass the bat to the next hitter by getting on base in some way? What are they trying to do with you? Does the other team fear you? Are they going to come right after you because they don't fear you at all? And what are you trying to accomplish in the at-bat? What's your number 1 job on the at-bat? And that depends on the situation, depends on the score, depends on, and I'll try to go through some of those situations maybe in future videos, but depends on the score, depends on how you're hitting, depends on who's on base, who's pitching, etc. There's so many factors, but think about that, and that will come to you. You can discuss that with your coach and other teammates and really get a game plan together. Everybody has their own way of getting loose. You need to make sure you're loose for the at-bat, particularly if it's cold out. If it's warm out, you may want to conserve your energy a little bit more, but make sure you're loose and ready to hit. I really think it's important for hitters to time the pitcher's pitches on the on-deck circle. Try to see the ball of the hand and try to have an at-bat before you have an at-bat. I always say, tell my hitters when I was coaching, you want to have that at-bat on the on-deck circle so that when you get on in for real, you have the pitches timed up, you can see the ball of the hand to the best of your ability, and you feel really comfortable on the plate. Make sure you're really focusing on the pitcher's release point, focusing on that baseball. So you can see the ball out of the pitcher's hand, see it as long as possible, see what pitch they're throwing, and get really comfortable in the plate. My final thoughts, I think a lot of hitters really fall short at all levels in the type of preparation that it takes to give yourself the best chance to be successful as a hitter going to the plate. You prepare, you get a game plan together, you get loose, you recognize, and then once you get into the batter's box, you see the ball and hit it, and adjust your game plan accordingly. I really think a lot of hitters can really benefit from more mental preparation for each at bat. Hope this was helpful and added some value to you.